Welcome back. You're watching the Global Dialogue, and we're in conversation with Honeywell about their plans for aerospace in India. Let me ask you about AI and the role that AI and generative AI specifically is likely to play when we talk about both safety as well as sustainability and what that means for your plans going forward.
So AI and the incorporation of AI within the Honeywell Aerospace business is very strong, and we're moving very diligently in that regard. I'll give you a couple of examples of where we're incorporating AI. If you think about avionics for a moment, you think about pilot state monitoring. So incorporating AI algorithms that can look at physiological and physical attributes of a pilot, determine is there stress, is there fatigue, are they being overworked as well. That's one example. Another example would be navigational systems. So an issue that is occurring in our industry today is operating aircraft in a GPS denied environment. It's becoming more prevalent, as we can see. So how do you develop AI algorithms to look at alternate means of navigation, whether it's visual, celestial, magnetic? So there's technology that we're developing in that realm to produce alternate navigational capability in operating in a GPS denied environment. And then just engineering in general across Honeywell Aerospace, right? We look at using AI as a tool for productivity, for efficiency, quality, improving quality of software loads. So whether we're doing test and validation, training AI algorithms to look at software requirements, code structure, and then ultimately be able to create code, for your platforms and for your products, again, with an underlying principle around productivity, efficiency, safety, and quality.
We talked about all of the tailwinds at this point in time for the sector, specifically for your business. What could be the potential headwinds as well? What could cause some turbulence down the road?
Yeah, again, a lot of demand and inability to supply to that demand that we have today. So that's a headwind, right? We've got to be able to continue to build out the aerospace industrial supply base, the complete ecosystem to be able to support the demand that we have today. The other thing that I would say is that growth that we're seeing, right? We're seeing almost doubling the amount of passenger traffic in the next, 15 or so years, means more aircraft are flying. It means more congested airspace, and typically around airports, right? Air traffic control corridors that become much more congested. So Mike, where we're developing a lot of technology is around safety. It's around situational awareness in the cockpit to ensure that we're driving the most advanced safety critical features and functions to the pilot to be able to address any concerns that may exist there. And we've seen incidents that are happening, around the world today. That's an area that needs to be addressed. That could be a headwind for our industry going forward. And then a little sub-element behind that is pilot demand. Right? If that growth is going to happen and that many more aircraft need to fly, you need to be able to have the pilots to be able to support that on a go-forward basis. So that could be another element that could be a headwind to be able to introduce enough pilots to be able to support the growth.
So $15 billion in 2024. What's the outlook as far as the next 4 or 5 years are concerned?
In terms of Honeywell Aerospace? Yeah, so we're projecting this year at about mid-single digit to high single digit growth on a go-forward basis. I anticipate that to continue for us, for the next few years as we continue to capitalize on this run that we're having in our industry. And at the same time, using this opportunity to invest back into our products. So we're doing a tremendous amount of organic investment back into developing new technologies, new features, new functions. I mentioned earlier about the breadth of our portfolio across Honeywell Aerospace. I can tell you there isn't a single part of that portfolio that we are not investing money to develop new technologies for the future. India, for the conglomerate, has been a high-growth market. For aerospace in particular, the role and relevance of India over the next few years? Substantially relevant, right? I mean, you think about the backlog, the number of aircraft that have been bought, the growth that'll be happening here in terms of demand. There's some underpinnings within the Indian market that's driving that growth. You think about the economy growth that is occurring in India, tourism growth that is occurring, more disposable income here within India. All of those are underpinnings that drive growth in terms of travel and demand on aircraft. The existing infrastructure, aviation infrastructure here in India is becoming much better, connecting points much better. So That is a real growth potential that we're very excited about here in India, and just making sure we're positioned for that on going forward.
Well, Jim, thanks very much for your time, and we look forward to you telling us more about the MRO plans as and when they get finalized. But appreciate you joining us here to talk about Honeywell's aerospace plans specifically here for India, as well as what the flight path ahead looks like. Appreciate your time.
No, thank you so much for the time and the opportunity to speak with you.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of the Global Dialogue. From all of us here on the team, for now, goodbye. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news will continue right after this.